And just like that, we are live. It is 3 o'clock. It's time for the Room Junkie Show. We were having slight, technical errors, so we're a couple of minutes late, but I am absolutely thrilled. I'm like a child at Christmas waiting for Santa, because I cannot believe that Paula Rowan is our guest today. This lady is an Irish glove designer. I think she is a superstar, global superstar designer, and she's Irish. She's living in Dublin, and I just wanted to introduce you to her. I want you to know her story, but most of all, I want you to know her product, because I'm going to put one of these gloves on now as we speak. Paula Rowan, you're so welcome to the Room Junkie Show.
Thank you very much for having me on, Anne. This wet, miserable day. I'm not sure what it's like where you are.
It's horrendous. It's better than it was, to be honest. But I am just so delighted. I really genuinely am, because your story is amazing. What you've accomplished is amazing. You are truly at the pinnacle of what you do. So tell me this, and because I'm really intrigued, how does a South County dub end up designing high-end, incredible gloves?
Well, my story kind of meanders, shall we say, because when I finished school, I studied history and classics in UCD. And really, because I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do with my life, but I felt if I had an arts degree, it would be a very good start. So once I finished the arts degree, and actually while I was studying, there was a mention about gloves throughout history, and I kind of thought this could be an interesting product. So then after I finished in UCD, I studied interior design in Dunleary. So then I worked at that for a year or two, and I just felt this isn't quite me. But my brother had a leather goods store in the Westbury Mall in Dublin. So I ended up starting to work with him there. And I discovered that I really enjoyed working with leather. I really enjoyed buying trips. And then I had an opportunity to take over that business in 2006, which I did. And it was at that point, I kind of felt I could bring another product, introduce something different into the shop. So I started to, as I say, I'd had an interest in gloves from when I was in UCD. I kind of heard they were the symbology of gloves, the references to gloves was popping up throughout history. Okay. So I felt something interesting could be done with gloves. So initially I was actually buying from companies and I was selling them in the shop. And then over time, either they were going out of business or they didn't have the type of gloves that I felt I wanted to sell in my shop. So the only way I could get what I wanted really was by designing my own. So I started going to Italy and researching factories and making contacts. I knew a lot about leather at that stage, but that was more it was the bag industry where I had a lot of contacts. So I basically had to start from scratch with the gloves and find the factories, source the leathers, and then obviously work on the designs. So that was in 2008 when I first launched.
Okay, where does the leather come from? Because it is, I wish the girls could actually feel what I'm feeling. This is luxury, it's so soft, it's so sensual. I can feel it stretching with me, and I know that in a year's time, 5 years time, 10 years time, these gloves will even look better than they do now, and they're almost custom made for me. That's the way they feel. And look at this cleavage detail here. It's just unreal.
You need a nice bracelet or a piece of jewelry on there as well, Anne. That'll accentuate it.
Okay. I must start wearing my watch again. Yeah. But tell me, where do you source the leather?
Originally, it comes from Ethiopia, and then it's brought back to Italy, where it's organically dyed, tanned, and treated. Therefore, it's classified as Italian leather. But originally, Ethiopia, back to Italy, and then it's cut and stitched by hand in Italy. But the reason actually the leather comes from Ethiopia, it's because of the way the animals are fed. It's because of the altitude in Ethiopia. So it gives a better stretch in the leather. So the most expensive leather for glove production is actually coming from Ethiopia.
Okay. And I mean, this is a premium product, but I like to think it's an affordable premium product, Paula, because my son, who's a student, and his gorgeous girlfriend, Anna, bought these for me for Christmas. And I think post-COVID, I know my heart and soul, fast fashion is gone. People want to treat ourselves. Mother's Day is coming up. So this would be a lovely gift for a mum. This is, I don't know. We spend a fortune on hats for weddings when we go to weddings. which is not at the moment. But I think I would far prefer to put my money into something like this that I could enjoy long after the hat box is put away into the wardrobe. But tell me, you've got some amazing people have been wearing your gloves. I started writing a list, and to be honest, I couldn't get to the end of it. Shock the girls. Tell us all.
Well, Madonna wore them, which I was absolutely thrilled about. Madonna wore them, I think it was 2018 or 19. She wore them as part of the launch of her album at the time. Rita Ora is wearing them at the moment on her album cover. Kendall Jenner has worn them in Vogue.
Julianne get bigger than that.
Julianne Moore, the actress, she has them too. Ruth Negga, the Irish actress.
Yes.
Naomi Campbell, the supermodel. So there's been, I have a lovely mix of women and actually some men, because Ronnie Wood wears them and Michael Scorsese as well. So I don't just sell gloves for women, I sell them for men as well. So
there was somebody else too, another guy, the actor, Richard E. Grant. And you know something, Noel Cunningham is my guest on Thursday. I would not be surprised if Noel owns a pair of your gloves. Now, I have got photographs. And I'm just hoping, now this is why we were late, because I did run into a glitch, and I'm hoping and praying that I'm going to be able to share this screen. So bear with us, because I would just love you to see. Picture paints 1,000 words. So hopefully,
behind me here actually on the
oh, I can see. Yes, I can see. Okay, let me see if we can do this. If we can't, we can't. But I do hope that we can. Hang on, this is looking good. Yes. Paula, can you see that?
I can, yeah. That's
great. Talk me through it all. Oh, this is a joy now. This is an absolute joy. Okay.
That is the front cover of the current issue of Vogue. So within that, there's a shoot that Edward Enninful, the editor, has styled, which my gloves are in that particular shot, which I think is probably a follow-on to this.
Oh my God, you said that so nonchalantly. My gloves are in Vogue. Okay, talk to me here. These are stunning. That color pink is absolutely gorgeous.
This is the part of the jewelry shoot from the December issue of Vogue. But what I suppose is wonderful for me, and which is a huge compliment to me, the products that are being styled, the jewelry, the dresses that my gloves are being styled with, they're some of the biggest brands in the world. So as far as I know, there's Chanel jewelry in that shoot. The dress is Fendi. There's my gloves. There's Boucheron. So these are huge international luxury brands, which is, as I say, hugely complimentary that my gloves are being used. But what a stylist said to me quite recently was, "We love your gloves, not just for the designs." They said the designs are wonderful. However, it's actually the way they fit in the hand and the wrist. And that for me is a huge design process, because, as I say, the design itself is really important, but the leather and the way it sits on the hand and wrist and works with the movement of the hand and arm is equally as important.
And the truth is in the what do they say? The proof's in the pudding. You have to wear these gloves to appreciate. Okay. This
was the December issue of English Chapter, and that's a pair of my Hannah gloves. They're actually a pair of driving gloves. And again, this was another jewelry shoot. So again, I'm in wonderful company, because from recollection, that's Chanel. I think there was Chanel. Who was the other brand that was there? Van Cleef as well. So again, I'm in really good company, which is lovely. So, but I also think jewelry and gloves go hand in hand, because when you think of, for example, the gloves that you have there with the scoop at the front of the glove, you can see your watch or your jewelry. If you have any of my, I usually have a pair here. For example, the sleeves that I have here, the whole idea. So there's a reason for each design, but the whole idea with this particular glove is, if you've got a nice ring, the ring will be seen. So that's the idea with a piece like this. So this is, sorry, I don't know where I've gone here. This is what I mean, that gloves and jewelry, in my opinion, go hand in hand, which is what a lot of these stylists have noticed, which is why I assume they're being They're being used in the shoots as well.
Wow. Okay, she was in the news recently. There she is spotting some gorgeous, almost Jackie O type gloves.
That's Liz Hurley. She's wearing my Nina gloves in white. And again, the way this has been styled, like the emphasis is very much on the accessories. So it's the hat and the gloves.
Stunning. And now here she is herself. My goodness.
Yeah, this is Madonna wearing my Hayley cuff. So again, exactly as I was saying to you there a moment ago, that the idea with a lot of the sleeves or the cuffs where there are no fingers, you can actually see your jewelry. So if you've got your nails, which unfortunately I don't have because the nail bars aren't open yet. If you have your nails beautifully manicured and you're wearing a ring and you basically put on like a little cuff, you've changed your outfit. You literally have changed your outfit. So like with my business, I sell bags, I sell gloves, I sell belts. So it's all about accessories. So I would be of the belief that you can take out last year's clothes, last season's clothes, and change them up. You can change a top with a belt. You can change a coat from last year if you bring in a color in a glove. If you bring in a sleeve, you can really change your outfit. Or a few years ago, I decided I had some beautiful coats, but I didn't like the length of the sleeves. So I was taking the sleeves up so I could wear my gloves. So I think a really good accessory of any description, really, there's so much you can do with it, because as I say, you can use last year's jacket or last year's top, or with any of these kind of cuffs. Say, for example, in the evening time, you're going to an event and the glove is actually part of your outfit. With a cuff, you don't have to take it off.
Stunning. You can have a drink, and your jewelry. I love it. Okay, here she is again, different gloves.
This is Madonna again, and this was for the video for her last album. I just unfortunately can't remember the name of the song right now. Okay. And Madonna is fantastic, and she doesn't wear she wears gloves all the time, because, well, I can certainly see it with my hands. I don't particularly like my hands, so I'm in the right business, and a glove is a great way of just covering up the hand. It's very difficult we're using them so much, and I'm just finding that mine, I don't know, as I say, I like the idea of a glove, so therefore I don't have to show off these lines.
Well, listen, I never thought, that's not something I ever thought about, but it's a very good point. Here we've got another very famous, gorgeous, beautiful lady.
This is Naomi Campbell, of course, for ID magazine. So like a lot of the time, I will get a call in from very, very well-known stylists and very well-known photographers. And I'm very fortunate in the people that are wearing the gloves. So sometimes I know who they're for. Sometimes I'll sign confidentiality agreements, so I don't say who they're for. Sometimes I know who they're for. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's a wonderful surprise. So, but the results of, or the photographs, the quality of the imagery, the styling, it's unbelievable. And that's what I mean. It's so beneficial to me and to my brand. And what I really love is that the stylists that are borrowing the gloves and the photographers, they know how to shoot the gloves. So they know how they're going to work. They don't get lost in the photographs. And you'll see as we go on further that the gloves are very much a focal point for a lot of these shoots.
I love those gloves, those particular gloves. I absolutely adore them. But it's all become like a piece of art. It's stunning.
Well, actually, with something like that particular glove, so I think very much of how the glove and how the detail is going to work on the hand and wrist, as I say. So I don't just put a little piece of fur on the top of the cuff. I spend a long time trying to find the right type of fur, the fur that's going to sit properly. These ones are silver fox, and it sits just at the top of the hand, literally on the wrist, but the fur falls down, midway. What am I doing here? Midway onto the hand. So when the cuff of your coat falls, all you see is the fur. So that literally creates the cuff of your coat. So if you're wearing something really, really plain, and then, as I say, you pop that glove on, you've just transformed your coat.
I'm actually going to stop sharing the pictures for a minute. Go back. Oh, good Lord. What have I done? I'm not sure where I am now. Paula, can you see me?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
Myself and yourself.
I'll continue with these. This is a fabulous photograph as well.
Now, I don't see that latest photograph.
Okay, I've done something really daft. Okay, well, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just come back out and I'll just say hello to you. Listen, this is a brand new experience for me, so I hope those photographs worked out okay, because I couldn't see any of them. But when you were talking about the wonderful one that Naomi Campbell was wearing, hello to everybody coming in. Barbara, my techie person, is saying it worked. And Neil Toohey says it works. Breach Fallon is here. I would not be surprised. I'm going to read out this. I bet Breach has got some of your gloves.
I know Breach well.
Do you? Oh, fantastic lady. Hi, Paula. Breach Fallon from Sligo. Love your fingerless, fabulous creations. Have collected them over the years. Well, I suspect after today, a lot of us will be collecting them over the years, because I can truthfully say these are my first pair and I have never enjoyed anything as much. But when you're creating them, it seems to me like there's a bit of an artist coming out in you as well as the maker, Paula.
From a very young age, I was always making things. I was always changing things. I was always making things. So I'd be at home making little dresses, making pieces of clothing for my dolls. Then as I got a little bit older, I was making really ornate sweets. So they weren't just sweets. I was making, there were leaves coming off them. There was gold leaf. So I was always creating things. So I think, as I say, I knew eventually I was going to go into the creative world. I was going to do something creative with my life. So as I say, at 18, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I studied arts, which I loved, but I knew ultimately I was going to go into the creative world. So I have very much kind of created a world and a life and a home for myself where everything I have inspires me. So everything I have bought in this apartment is because I like it. It's because I see something in it. It's that I see something I can use in my design. This is why the whole place is so eclectic. There's nothing matching. It's all full of pieces that I like. So,
well, I had a peep tour yesterday. That apartment oozes style. It oozes your personality. Tell us about it, because it is I know exactly where it is. It's a very special location and a very special place that you're so fortunate to live in.
Well, I have a floor of an early Victorian house. So when you go to London, there are flats everywhere. You don't really have it or see it as much so over here. So I'm overlooking the sea, which again was very much when I first moved here, it was my intention to be somewhere that inspired me. So when I walk into my living room, I have no curtains deliberately. So when I walk into my living room first thing in the morning, I have the colors of the sea. So I'm just inspired from the moment I get up, because obviously when you're looking over the water, because of the reflection of the sun or the clouds, the colors change every day. So a lot of, as I say, what I see from the moment I wake up inspires me. For example, this is only a small thing.
Show us.
I was at, like everywhere I go, when I go to Italy, I always go to the antique markets. I go to places that I enjoy. I go to restaurants that I enjoy. So I found a little antique shop in Dunleary, and I was just wandering by in the summertime, and I saw these little cups and saucers.
Oh, they're absolutely gorgeous.
So again, like the colors in here for me will be, okay, those greens and those golds are absolutely beautiful together, or the branches on the tree. So again, anything like that is inspiring me. Sorry, if I can show you the roof of the house there. Where am I going? This side here?
Don't drop it.
Yeah, I know. It will be bad luck. Say the roof of the house, what would you call them?
Is it pagodas? It looks a bit oriental, is it?
It is oriental, actually. Okay. But it's actually like say, for example, here, you've got the lines on the roof of the house on the grey side. Where am I going? Yes. Here. So again, that has inspired me with the cuff detail of one of the gloves, which is going to be coming out next season. So everything around me inspires me, whether it's a scene in a movie, what I see outside the door, what's actually going on the catwalk, colors, everything and anything, a piece of art, a piece of architecture, the roof in a house, the windows, old windows, anything like that. So as I say, I'm very deliberately built a life around myself, which is constantly inspiring me, which I like to think comes out in the gloves.
But it does, because to be honest, you know, the way you think of an artist that you love and you can recognize his or her style, there's nobody that wouldn't know a pair of your gloves. And some of them are quite dramatic, like seriously over the top dramatic. Breach Fallon probably has a few pairs of those, but that's such fun and that's such energy.
Well, I have, for example, I have a few here, which I'll just...
yeah, I can see that.
these, for example, are, and I think
Wow.
differentiating me. So the gloves actually take 3 months to make. I don't know if I
I was
mentioned
going
that
to
earlier.
ask you that.
So by the time the leather is actually sourced in Ethiopia, brought back to Italy, and then cut, stitched, embellished, everything is done by hand. So the process is 3 months, well, usually a little bit longer, but 3 months. And then my designing, well, that's continual. So sometimes I probably have 400 pairs I haven't put in production yet. So I'm kind of constantly designing, constantly coming up with ideas. So what I do one season mightn't necessarily go into production until the next.
Okay.
Something like this glove here. This is actually inspired by an accordion. So this is panels of leather.
Oh my God.
So this actually sits up on the shoulder. And then there's 2 ways you can wear the glove, actually. You can wear it right up on the shoulder so that this particular section will sit and move with the wrist, or not with the wrist, sorry, with the elbow.
With the elbow, yeah.
The elbow. Or because it's elasticated at the top of the glove, this can be positioned on the arm. And then you'll have folds of leather, the ruching of the leather. Sorry, the light isn't great. Can you see that?
I can see it. But
So
how long did that take? Surely that took longer to make. The detail, the amount of work and attention to detail in that, the precision even.
That one probably took close on 4 months because all the panels have to be put in individually. They actually graduate in size as well. So as I say, like with a piece like this, it's not necessarily something which is the most commercial, but it gets a huge amount of that. This is what's getting the exposure. So this glove, for example, they were in 2 shots in Italian Vogue last May, which was really nice because everything was suddenly shut down. So what happened, as with everybody globally, March, I was getting a huge amount of exposure and PR, which was wonderful, and business was like just growing and growing and growing. And then suddenly COVID came and everything just stopped. So the call-ins for the magazines, the call-ins from the stylists, the photographers, literally they stopped overnight. So then in May, I was literally like sitting down at my dining room table, or was it May? I think the end of April, just before May. And I was nearly in a state of despair. And then suddenly I saw that image pop up on my Instagram page that I'd been tagged in by Italian Vogue. I didn't know. So that was really, that was lovely. And just really, when things had been so difficult, as they had been for everybody, and, you know, like my woes, I can tell you, were nothing in comparison to what so many went through. So I actually have nothing to complain about. But it was just lovely to see that you kind of think, like, is it like, what is happening here? Is this going to work? Is it not going to work? And then all of a sudden something like that happens. So it's the, when you're, I suppose, recognized by these hugely important and hugely talented stylists and photographers who, as I say, know how to style my gloves. They know it's nearly like they understand what I'm trying to do. They understand my design without me having to explain it. But what I love, as I say, was one of the stylists from the Wall Street Journal said to me in September, she said, "We love your gloves." And she said, "The designs are fantastic and we're delighted to work with them." But she said, "We love the way your gloves fit. None of the other gloves that we use fit this way." So the funny thing is, I wear black morning, noon, and night. I absolutely love color. People don't think I like the sun or color. So I love when I see the colors on everybody else. As I say, I wear black morning, noon, and night. But it's I absolutely like. You really see the quality of the leather with the colors. Actually, black we all use and we all need, but with the tans or the browns or the navies or the pinks, you really see the quality, because if you have a cheaper piece of leather, it's not going to take the dye as well. Whereas you can see it's because of the quality, the purity of that color is coming through.
It is amazing. I love that pink, that baby pink that you had. And I also love it. There's an orange one that I think I'm going to get for myself that has a gold embellishment, a metal detail on the front, which I think is stunning. But this is a glove. I could wear this. And I'm not just, and this is not a paid production, girls. This is a genuine endorsement of somebody that I absolutely respect. I mean, Paula is talking about Vogue and Tatler and the Wall Street Journal, and as if, you know, I don't know, as if it's a Dunleary News. you just are so nonchalant and easy about it, and you're so modest, I think. I mean, you absolutely are a superstar, an absolute superstar in your league. There aren't too many glove manufacturers at your level, I would think, or are there?
Well, globally, there are 10 or 12 people that design gloves.
Just not much, yeah.
It's a very, very specific market. And I think in my case, what I've done, I'm not very good at multitasking. So I tend to stick to one product and do it really, really well. And that was my original plan, that I would work with gloves and gloves only, and just build my name and my reputation around my glove designs and around my leathers, which is what I've done, because I wanted my name to become synonymous with gloves. I wanted people to think Paula Rowan and think gloves, and then come to me specifically for gloves. So it certainly has worked to date, because I'm getting this recognition, and it's, as I say, it's a huge compliment for me to be, or for my product to be photographed, say, in tandem with Alexander McQueen, with Chanel, with Gucci, with Bottega Veneta, with these huge international brands. And at the end of the day, I'm still a relatively small brand. I'm very, very specialized though, and I think that's that and the designs are differentiating me.
Absolutely, because I mean, there's so many of the big names that are spending millions and millions of euros and dollars on advertising and endorsements, and they're coming to you because it's just such a premium product. Esther is saying, where can you buy them? A really good question, because Jackie Kearney's saying, making my Mother's Day list as we speak. So Paula, what is the best way for somebody to get in touch with you, or if they want to buy your gloves?
Well, obviously the shop is closed at the moment. Hopefully not for too much longer. We're all waiting in anticipation for this evening. Yep. But in the meantime, you can buy everything online. Now, if you ring the shop, the landline is actually diverted to my mobile phone, so you can still talk to me either way. But www.paularowan.com.
I'll put all of your links here as well. And Paula, did you tell me that you might have a little treat in store for my ladies?
Absolutely. Anybody listening today, I am more than happy to give you 10% off if you use the code ANTUI.
Rim Junkie. Let's go with Rim Junkie. Is that okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Code Rim Junkie. Brilliant. No, so listen, no excuse for all of us to start your collection of Paula Rowan gloves, because I just can't tell you how much I love mine. I absolutely do. Now, my eye is drawn to a piece of art behind you, Paula. What's the provenance of that, or where did you pick that up?
This is out of the way here. This is a friend of mine, Mark P. Cullen.
Say that again, Mark
P. Cullen.
Mark P. Cullen, okay.
Mark is an Irish artist. He's from Blackrock, just down the road from me. I had always admired Mark's work. And again, like myself, he's inspired by his surroundings. He's inspired by Dublin. Mm-hmm. This is of Bullock Harbour. So I think it was about 2 years ago, Mark and myself collaborated. So we turned his paintings into scarves.
Is it silk? Is it silk? It looks like silk from the photograph. Maybe it's not.
Well, this is actually a painting. That's the original.
Oh, that is the painting. Sorry.
That's the original painting of Bullock Harbour. But the scarves were modal and silk. But literally, what was so wonderful about it was they literally translated. And because Mark is an artist, he was doing what he wanted to do. So the colours, they naturally blended, they naturally worked. So it was a really nice collaboration. I hope we're going to do another range at some stage, if you're listening, Mark.
Was that a limited edition? Are they all sold now?
We did 7 different designs. No, I still actually have some of them left. So I have one of Kilmore Quay at the moment, which has got lots of pink tones and blue tones. And then we had Bullock Harbour. We had another one called Pestle and Mortar. So no, I still have some of them left in the shop.
I'm glad I asked you that. It's stunning. It caught my eye, and it works so well with your fireplace and the colours and everything. Paula Rowan, this has been such a pleasure. I know that you're dashing off. You've got an important meeting coming up, but it has been my privilege and my pleasure to have you here. So girls, do take her up on that generous offer. Use the Rim Junkie code. Go onto the website, get in touch with her, and just have a look through all the amazing, from this superstar Irish
I don't know if I'd consider myself to be a superstar, but
well, I do.
I have some superstars wearing my gloves, all right, which is wonderful. But I don't think I put myself in that category.
Well, look, that's open to interpretation. But I think you'll have picked up a few fans today, and I know lots of people watch later on when they finished work. So, Paula, I absolutely thank you so much for giving your time and your energy to come in and chat to us and tell us your amazing story. Everybody said really enjoyed your talk. Fantastic. So I'll put all your details here. Tomorrow I'll be back with actually one of your neighbours, Barbara Scully. She's up the road in Blackrock. She's a TV journalist and presenter. She's also has a webcast at the moment called How to Stay Sane in a Pandemic. She's great fun, and we'll have lots of fun tomorrow. But Paula, that was just amazing. Siobhan Savage says, fabulous chat. Thanks for cheering up a wet, windy day. Listen, if only you could feel what I'm feeling, this would put a smile on your face. In fact, I should make a point of putting them on every wet, windy day. Just a bit like putting on lipstick. It's lipstick for your hands. Paula,
right.
Thank you so very much. So, ladies, I shall be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Oh, sorry, I spoke over you there, and it was my pleasure and our pleasure to have you here. So stay safe, stay fabulous, and I shall be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock.